there, my name is Rabbi and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. Happy New Year! It's 2020. 2020 Visions is here. We are 24 days away from Star Trek Picard, and we're a scant few hours away, 12, 11 hours away from Doctor Who. And I'm kind of nervous about both of them. I'm kind of watching them from behind closed fingers because I think they're both going to be pretty bad. But I'm hoping they're going to be good. But this video isn't about that. So happy New Year, everyone. So what does a rabbi from another planet do on New Year's Eve? He goes to bed early quite often, which is what I did last night. But before I went to bed, I started watching The Witcher. Couldn't get through it. I'm going to try again today. But I did watch The Black Hole because I bought a subscription for Disney Plus, which I just cancelled now The Mandalorian's finished. I will re-up it and get it when Mandalorian comes back. There's absolutely nothing on at all that I could possibly be interested in. All my kids are pretty much moved out. My youngest is 17, and he's not home during the week most weeks. Actually, it's actually fantastic. I'm an empty nester until Thursday, Fridays. Then my kids come home for the weekends, and then they're back in their lives on Sundays. Sundays is like Monday in Israel. So anyway, I watched The Black Hole last night, and I haven't seen it since guess when it came out, 1979. It is really interesting because there's really nothing like it at all. It's caught between two eras. That and Star Trek Motion Picture, both of them caught between two eras. They both came out, I think, roughly the same time. Both came out in 79. Black Hole came out, I believe, December 8th, and Motion Picture, I'm thinking 18th. I might have them mixed up. Anyway, so they were both greenlit because of the success of Star Wars, but neither of them have taken on any of the cultural changes of Star Wars, and that's really what we see in this movie. So the first weird thing that really hits you, smacks you in the face, and yeah, but before I get into that, there's so many things I really remember vividly from seeing it when I was a kid. I think I was 8 when it came out. I remember the titles. They have this computer generated 3D rendering of a black hole, it's a meshwork, and it was really cool. I'd never seen anything like that before. I haven't seen a lot of stuff like that before, and I remember shots, shot for shot, and I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it for, I don't know, 30 years, minimally. So it made a big impression on me, and I remember it, just freaking me out, mainly, and freaking me out, and being really interested and kind of bored all at the same time. So, yeah, it takes an interesting movie to do that to an 8-year-old Spielberg. So, the plot is pure 1950s science fiction. It's I would say it's a spiritual sequel to Forbidden Planet. It really fits in that storytelling world. It's you don't have any of the advances that you got from either Star Trek or Star Wars. Star Trek, before Star Trek, we had very childish science fiction. It was all Lost in Space, very scientifically nonsense. Then Star Trek came along and it added a level of what's the word? Verisimilitude, reality. Let's go because I can't remember the bloody word. But it added this level of realism to it, and it made it feel like you're on a Navy vessel. So it seemed to have more internal cohesion. And then 10 years later, Star Wars came out and added this whole other aesthetic to it, this level of realism. So this movie has none of that. It's a very 1950s science fiction plot, but it's in a very let me think. The look of it is very pre-Star Wars. It doesn't take any of that a Star Wars aesthetic. It looks more like a James Bond movie from the late 70s, early 80s, which it makes sense. It came out in the very late, at the very end of the 1970s. So it's a weird beast. There's nothing out there like it. The other weird thing is the robots in it, and the robots are a major component of it, are clearly designed to sell toys and to just throw away any what's the word? Any idea of this being an adult drama, an adult science fiction thing at all. Again, it doesn't have the realism that you had with C-3PO or R2-D2, which again weren't particularly real characters. They were much more fantasy characters. But okay, so the design, the main robot that you're gonna, there's three main robots that you're gonna remember. Four, but the three main robots you're gonna remember. One is like this little floaty, cool little thing voiced by I thought it was Bruce Boxleitner, but no. When I heard it, it was Roddy McDowell, the guy who did the voice for Planet of the Apes. Although he voiced it uncredited for some unknown reason. Everybody knows your voice, mate. Like everybody knows that voice. It was so clear who it was. And so he's this little floaty ball with like his dome comes up and he's got this big red like head section with these giant eyes on it with these big googly eyes. So so it goes from looking like this cool sci-fi thing to like a kid's toy to a cool like it's very so hard to get your head around it. And then you meet a little bit later an old beat up version of the same type of droid, voiced by Slim Pickens, who this famous old like cowboy actor. Yeah, I always think he's the guy who plays the sheriff in Live and Let Die, and what was he? He was in the next one as well. I can't remember what it is, but it's not. That was Clifton Sangarad. This is Slim Pickens. He's the guy who played the bomber captain in Doctor Strangelove, and very famously, he's the one who was on the back of the bomb as it fell down, waving his cowboy hat. Going, woo! So that's Slim Pickens, and it's perfect then because it's like this old timer, like this westerny type of character. So that's the thing about these robots. These robots have intense pride in their models and their abilities. So you got the little floaty robots. Then you got the main villain robot, which is Maximilian, which is this giant, big, red, scary robot with this giant, red, scary eyes, and he's just there to be intimidating and scary, which he is. He's very successfully intimidating and scary. And then you got like the security droids, which are kind of drones with these cool U-shaped guns built into the hands, which I remember clearly. This scene of this shot of them locking into place in their wrists as they go on patrol. I just remember that, so like thinking that was so cool. But then these robots get together in this recreation room, having a shooting contest. And there's this. So the security droids are mainly red, apart from this one black one, which is super scary. And he used to be the top dog until Maximilian came along, the big red scary robot. So he's got this they got this shooting contest going on, and they're showing off. They're like, hey, pew, pew, and there's this intense pride about being robots. And then the fourth type of robot turns out to be not a robot at all, but an animal. We'll get into it later when we get to the story. So you have this eclectic crew on a ship that so desperately wants to not be Star Trek, doesn't want to be the Enterprise, and they make the bridge. Like any design decision is that how they do it on Star Trek? No, we've got to be different. We can't be seen to be ripping off Star Trek. So it's like a circular bridge, and it's a bizarre eclectic crew with Ernest Borgnine playing essentially Ernest Borgnine, Anthony Perkins playing Anthony Perkins, and a bunch of other nondescript people. There's one woman on the ship, Dr. Kate McCree, played by Yvette Mimieux. I never heard of her. I doubt she did much before or after, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so the crew is kind of like forgettable. Then there's a lot of very good weightless effects with them in their cockpit. When they move seats, they float around very convincingly, and they come into the cockpit very convincingly. I think they use they look like they use whatever methodology they used in making 2001. So anyway, so they find this derelict ship, this massive derelict ship that's been missing for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years, missing for a long time. And they think it's derelict, but somehow it's parked next to a black hole and not being sucked into a black hole. It's creating this like gravity well around it. That means it's not getting sucked in. And this was back in the time when black holes, my whole knowledge of black holes I took from this movie. It wasn't until I saw, what's that movie, Interstellar, where I'm like, oh, black holes are not like that at all. They're just incredibly dense pieces of matter, which are actually spherical rather than just a hole. Two-dimensional. But okay, but this goes on with that. The black holes were weird, creepy portals into another realm of being. So yeah, they find this derelict ship, then they go aboard it, and all the lights turn on. They're like, oh, it's full of robots. It's full of robots. So they meet Maximilian as they get herded in to meet the captain of the ship, who is a pure, complete James Bond villain. This movie is a lot closer to was it Moonraker than it is to Star Wars. It really is. So the villain is Dr. Hans Reinhardt, played by Maximilian Schell. Again, pure James Bond villain. He invites them for dinner in this ornate dining room. Again, exactly what you'll see in Spy Who Loved Me or something like that. And this guy, it turns out this guy has got this wacky plan to he's worked out how to go through the black hole, which they don't want to do because they say they're going to be ripped apart and killed, which seems kind of reasonable. So it turns out that the incredibly ominous, sinister-looking villain turns out to be a villain, and all the fourth types of robots that are walking around the ship, they notice they walk with a limp, and they're very humanoid. These robots are in fact people that they've turned into androids for some reason. I know I watched it last night, but I kept kind of falling. I fell asleep a couple of times during it. And then at the end, they all get sucked into the black hole. That's basically the movie in a nutshell. And it gets weird and creepy, and you see the creepy robot Maximilian has the James Bond villain's eyes in it for some reason, and none of it really makes sense. But it's very charming. I enjoyed it in the same way as I enjoyed Forbidden Planet. It's a very, very similar science-less science fiction vibe. It's a lot of fun. If you have Disney Plus and you're looking for something to do today, it's as good a thing as any while you're kicking back, waiting for life to start again. What today's Wednesday? I guess most people are taking off the rest of the week, and people are going to start work on Monday. Who knows? I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're having a great vacation. My name is Sela Becken, the Rabbi for Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you can subscribe, if you like this content, it really, really helps me out to subscribe. If you can do that, that'll be fantastic. And have a great day. Have a great year. Have a great decade. And his hope this year is going to be better than the last, even though hopefully you had a great year last year as well.